amazing about picking a season, to me, is that so often at the end, once you've picked them, people go, oh, there's a theme to this season that is this thing, and you went out and you found all these shows that are about that thing. And what it actually is that we read all of the plays and we pick the season, and what we realize is that we have curated a season that tells a story. And so this season, to me, as I said, it's evolution, it's growth, it's change, it's empowerment, it's resistance. It's, what do you do when you feel like you're not the person in power? How do you take back your power? How do you grow into the person you want to be? How do you become what you know you're supposed to be? And that theme goes through all of these shows, but we didn't really do it on purpose. That theme revealed itself to us.
I also think there's the wonderful thing of that energy between these plays of Shakespeare plays that are 400 years old that are still done with contemporary energy, that still speak to us today while we're doing these new plays. Mm-hmm. And while those plays were new 400 years ago, it's still finding those elements that, like these new pieces, speak to us today.
Totally. And the thing that always amazes me is that people talk about the proper way to do Shakespeare, or why do we still do Shakespeare? And the thing is about these great plays, these great classical plays, is that we only can ever do them from the perspective we hold now. And the contemporary work we do, so much of it is based on classical work or classical themes, and they challenge us and they take us forward, and they're going to be the plays that in 400 years people will say, what makes these relevant today?
Right. And that's Shakespeare's plays are still done today. There are other elements from that time period, authors who are still done. With these plays, they still have those elements of love and jealousy and ambition and friendship and loyalty, and all of these elements that are part of what it is to be a human being. And so they speak to us today as they spoke to the audiences 400 years ago, when they were a contemporary play. Yeah. When they were a contemporary theater.
Absolutely. All of it was new. And the idea that they are in the canon and that the new work, the contemporary work we do, becomes part of the canon. And they speak to each other. Yeah. And for the audience, they speak to each other, and across the years they speak to each other, and across the season they speak to each other. Yeah. So to me, that's what's really exciting about it.
These theaters, the work that these theaters do are complementary. They are not competitive, they are not adversarial, they're complementary.
Exactly.
Well, and for me with Seattle Shakespeare, we've been looking for a home for 18 years. Our location has not been our home. So something that has been this long quest for us has been, where are we going to be? Where are we going to be able to put roots down? Where are we going to be able to form a foundation of what we do? And we haven't had that. So coming here was this opportunity to have that home downtown, which I think is exciting. I think that potential for this downtown theater and to be a part of that is incredibly exciting to me as an administrator, as an artist, as a lifetime Seattle theater person. So that is a new beginning for us. For this company that has been around for 34 years, we become a new company.
Yeah, ACT has been here for 60 years. And we're just hitting our 60th anniversary, and suddenly there's a new beginning. And I think for a lot of people that makes them nervous, because they're thinking, wait, we've been here. This is one of the oldest theaters in Seattle, like oldest surviving theaters in Seattle. And so is Shakes. And to think, but wait, are we losing those theaters? Right. It's a new beginning, but are we losing what was before? And we aren't. We're here. We're here, and we're doing the work, and we're recognizable as our original organizations, but we're coming together to do this together. And to carry it forward. And that beginning, you can have a new beginning without losing what came before.
Because that was part of our discussion early on, was it will be something new while preserving what has been there.
Yeah, because it's based on these strong, strong foundations that these theaters have. And this downtown corridor in this amazing building, it really feels like it's also a new beginning for the downtown Seattle area.
Yep.
Along this corridor of the historic theaters and the neighborhood we're in. But it's really, bring people back downtown, bring people into the theater, expand what they're expecting to see, and still know they're going to see amazing, high quality work.
We will make this move, and there will still be ACT, and there will still be Seattle Shakespeare in a new way. I think about there's the ACT DNA and there's the Seattle Shakespeare DNA, and it will now be a new combined DNA.
It is a combined DNA, and so many of our artist community work at both and all the theaters in Seattle, but that community coming together here, because there's a lot of shared members of our artistic community that have spent years working at ACT and years working at Shakes, and it feels like coming home, but it's exciting, and it feels, what I feel is the potential and like the electricity in the air around it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think transitions, I think empowerment, and I'm going to be a little radical and say resistance. I think there's a lot of resistance in our stories. Resistance to change, resistance to inevitable change, or resisting the people who don't want you to change.
Right.
And of course, empowerment is every story deals with stepping into your power in a different way.
I mean, I just wrestle with that's my fundamental problem of trying to come up with 3 words, because this is a universe of place. That there is that focus, like you say, of finding that theme that we end up having, with empowerment, with resistance. I find them all engaging. I find them all enlightening about who we are as human beings, which is fundamentally what we should be doing with theater, is talking about who we are, whether it's the classics that have been here for 400 years or the new play that has never been done in Seattle before. That all of them spoke to us as human beings and spoke to me as a human being.
Well, one of the things that is so fascinating to me is that we've picked a lot of plays that are about change and metamorphosis and all of those things, but they're about transition. And when you look at what we are going to be doing in the first year, we're getting to know each other.
Right.
We are learning how to become one organization. We are learning how to grow together.
And I think you just said the biggest word, because it's what's in each of these plays, it's in the merger, it's in society, it is transitions.
Yeah, and I think that may be the word. We might have found the word. Yeah. Transitions. Yeah. I think that.
Might have found the word.
Well, we do everything together, John. Subscribe now and guarantee your seats for this amazing season.
We'd love to see you here and have you part of this new beginning of ACT and Seattle Shakespeare. Thank you.